Well, here we are, September 19th, 2024, and I am heading over to go archery elk hunting in northeastern Oregon. I've got a leftover tag I got, and a friend of mine, Adam, has been nice enough to offer flying me into the middle of the wilderness. So thank you, Adam. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I've got a whole week or more to hunt, so we'll see how it goes. Just gonna be hunting by myself. I've got all the gear and I'm fully prepared, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I told my kids I'd do a video of some sort. I'm not much into filming, but here goes nothing. I'll try not to film all the food eating or the camp stuff, but I'm hoping to catch some good video of some elk or bear or maybe some wolves. So here we go, just on the road right now, and I'll check in with you guys and try to see what I can come up with. See ya. Oh, you do?
Oh yeah.
With a shotgun?
Yeah. Our best day was 130 in 3 hours.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
man. Okay, tell Riot good luck in that game.
Okay.
See ya.
Clear.
Yep.
That bottom hatch is closed, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
And the top one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, here I am. I just got dropped in Lord Flat. Yeah, I haven't been in here actually since I think it's been since I was 17 years old. This is actually the same ridge where I know Dad and I about froze to death. And a cowboy found us and we broke into a Forest Service cabin up over that ridge about 1.5 miles. And I'll tell you, that horseback ride was the coldest ride I've ever had in my life. But we made it. So September 19th, 2020. I'm excited. Adam just took off in the plane and flew over that hill. Joseph's off that way, so you know the plane ride was about 20-25 minutes. Probably the scariest thing I've ever done. The Super Cub is a really small plane. He said it was built in like the 40s, but it's been maintained. And yeah, anyway, it was a kind of a bumpy ride. He said with the afternoon thermals changing, it makes for a bumpy ride. So here I am, and I'm gonna go back in this timber and set up camp. I've got all my stuff here. I brought a lot of stuff, and that's mainly just to be comfortable for up to 10 days or so. And yeah, if I don't find elk around here, then I'll move up country and hunt closer up top there. But yeah, on the way in we saw a lot of elk on private property, and then we saw something that looked weird, so we circled around, and sure enough it was a mama bear with 2 cubs, and we kind of did a flyby on them and they went running away, so that was pretty neat. But yeah, here we are. It's a beautiful day, and I'm excited to see what the week has. I'm here by myself, so got to be careful, but I know the Lord's with me and He's my protector. So just gonna take it easy and hope you guys at home are doing well. I love you kids, and I'll check in a little bit later after I get camp set. Well, it's the first evening, and I've gotten into two bulls bugling. The one I couldn't get a very good look at, and there's another one that's right over this knoll that's bugling pretty good. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening, so I'm not too far from the top here. So I'm gonna just sneak down there real quiet, see if I can get a look at him. Stay tuned. Well, it's a no-go. I got down here where I thought the bull was. Then I spotted some cows up in here, and the bull was bugling his way up to the cows. So I've learned my lesson to get ahead of the bulls, not behind them. Now I'm gonna hike up this back to camp. Well, as you can see in that last video, I finally saw the bull with the cows. And they were at the top of the hill waiting for me because I was cow calling and they thought I was the last cow. But he looked like a 5-point. I wouldn't have shot him. I'm looking for that one that makes your heart skip a beat. So, anyway, he had a nice bugle though. Well, I'm gonna try to get back to camp before dark. Well, made it back to camp after the first evening hunt on the first day here. Got into 2 bulls that were bugling. They were just too far away across the canyon, and you know, this is big country, so I did get a good look at one of them. It was a small 5-point, and he had a few cows with him. The other one sounded bigger, but I never got a look at him. I just saw his cows. So it wouldn't be a hunting video unless I showed you what I'm having for dinner. Got the Jetboil going and some beef stroganoff. So I have some dinner and get some rest. walked all the way down here from way up on top of that ridge. Up there I spotted this bear all the way across here. Walked around, came down, the wind was in my favor, and he was right under this rim rock. So I knew he had to be in here, so I took my socks or my shoes off. And I snuck down in here. And I looked over this edge, and you can see kind of what that looks like, but it's just a cliff. And I looked over and I saw his nose coming out right below me. And that was crazy. He was so close. I haven't even ranged it yet. Oh man, he was 17 yards when I shot. Let's see if you can see. My arrow. Should be able to see it. I think it's hard to see on this, but anyway, man, that was close. And I definitely hit him. I saw it hit him and heard it. But I shot him with my 20-yard pin, and it looked like I hit him high in the shoulders. It was a vertical going away shot, and I think I should have aimed a little further back because I'm uphill. But I definitely hit him, and then I watched him run down in there, and I don't know if he piled up, but the last place I saw him was 250 yards, so he may be down there dead. I don't know. It's yeah, it's one of those things, man. He was so close. I should have taken my time a little more, shot back a little more, but I'm gonna climb down there. I gotta go around because it's a cliff right there. Stay tuned. Well, I made it down here from where I shot. I shot right up on top of that. And I mean, this bear was living right up in this cave. But I came down here, he walked out. So I was up on that cliff. I saw his nose, so I got ready and he walked right out. I didn't even range him just because it seemed so close. So I put my 20-yard pin right in between his shoulders, and I didn't even range him, like I said, but 20-yard pin right in between his shoulders, and I heard a thud, and he ran off down in there. And good news and bad news, I watched him go probably 300 yards down this stuff, down into that deep canyon, and he didn't tip over. So I was playing everything out, trying to figure out what to do, because my shoes are way up there. I took them off partway down, and the good news is I don't have a wounded bear. You know, bad news is I think I missed completely. I'm looking at this arrow, and here it is, and I don't see any blood at all. So that's good, because I'd hate to wound one. I think maybe I just got too excited and held too high. I mean, he was so close, and now I ranged it from here, and it's only like 14 yards. So I don't know. All I know is I got bear fever. That got me excited, and happy to have that. I mean, it's always been a dream of mine to kill a bear with a bow in this big country. And at least I got to spot and stalk from a long ways away, and now I don't have to pack them out. That's great. Good thing I'm not a good shot. I'm gonna get out of here. You know, just when you think you're in the middle of nowhere, which I am. I mean, I'm 20 miles from the nearest vehicle. Probably 40 miles from the nearest town. And there's two guys. I don't know if the video picks it up, but they are walking right by my camp. Well, at least I have company. Well, I'm out here at the end of the ridge and having a cup of coffee. It's the second day here, and what I'm thinking is, this is big country. It's much bigger than what it looks like on the map. And I know the elk are down in there, but man, I just can't imagine getting one out of there. So I might head up country a little bit, hunt something a little more realistic, because this is just huge. But you never know, there might be stuff up on top. I know last night when I was going to bed, I heard something gallop right by the tent, and I think it had to be an elk. So, gonna keep trying at it, see what happens. Well, here I am. It's the second day, evening. I walked all the way out. I don't even know the name of this ridge, but it's the north end of the airstrip. Walked all the way out the finger and didn't see a thing on the east drainage. But then I popped over to the west drainage, which looks further towards Cow Creek, and saw a big herd of elk down in the bottom. Saw one little bull, but he wasn't the one bugling. There was a big one bugling. Never saw him, but it sounded nice. And then further down, way down off Fingerboard, saw a big herd of elk, and there was a big bull. I mean, I got video of him, but I mean, he's a mile away. Sounded like a real deep bugle and looked like a pretty heavy bull. But once again, I mean, that's so far in there. I gotta be realistic here. So I'm just heading back to camp now. I just gotta go up there. See ya. Well, I made it back to camp. On the second evening, I was way out there on that ridge south, or actually north of the airstrip. Turns out it was a couple of miles, 2 miles, so it took me an hour and 15 minutes to walk back. And yeah, I was walking through the timber. Normally I don't wear a headlamp, but Jeff is the one that recommended it just for safety. And I thought in this country with cougars and bears and wolves around, I thought it'd be a good idea to wear a headlamp. So I was going through the timber, and I just had that feeling that you're being watched. I don't know what that is, but I happened to stop, scan my headlamp around, and I looked, and probably, oh man, it looked like it was 30 yards. I see these two eyeballs looking at me in the darkness, and my light was on them, and they were moving and blinking, and I was like, well, what do I do? So I whistled, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. If that's a wolf, then, you know, you might not want to whistle at a dog. They might come running. So then I just started talking to it, and with a strong voice, and pretty soon it just turned. I see the lights, or the eyeballs, just disappear, and I heard it, you know, kind of gallop away, which was the same sound I heard running by my tent last night. But I kind of think, at first I thought it was a wolf, but I don't think wolves are that loud when they run away, so I think it had to be a bear. Don't think it was a cougar. Too quiet or too loud for a cougar, but I know how bears sound when they run away, and I think that's what it was. But anyway, that made it interesting for the hike back. So I'm going to get some shut-eye, see what comes of tomorrow. This is the third day I've been here, and been doing pretty good on water. But I thought I'd look up one of these springs. I found this spring on my map, and it's actually just, I don't know, a half mile from my tent. So yeah, I'm here. I feel like the movie Castaway, where I'm talking to a volleyball, but it's just my phone. Anyway, I got out this morning and went on the north end of the landing strip on the opposite ridge of where I'd seen those elk last night, and sure enough, they were down in there again. Last night I couldn't see the bull, I just saw his cows, but this morning I was able to get right above him, and I saw the bull, and he's like a spindly 6-point. Didn't really get me excited at all, but he was bugling and whatnot, so got some good video of that. You know, he's a mile from camp and then 600 yards down a steep canyon, so I'll put him in my back pocket, and as the days go on, if I get desperate, maybe I'll drop in there and try to kill him. Anyway, just filling up some water here and gonna go back to camp and take a nap, but then I'm gonna probably go up country, up to the flatter timbered stuff, and maybe spend the night up there. So yeah, I'm glad to have this water right here. This is pretty cool. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and there's a grasshopper that was drowning. Anyway, I'll check in with you guys later. Hope you kids are doing well. Ezra, hope you have a great soccer game today. I wish I could be there. I love you. Well, it's 1:30 on Saturday afternoon. I've been here since Thursday afternoon, and this is my base camp. And I'm kind of hunting the lower end of this country where it drops off into these big deep canyons, and I've seen some bulls down in there, but nothing big enough to go crazy and go down in there. So I figure if the bulls are going to be average, I'd rather get one up on top. So I'm going to work my way up this country that goes uphill, get up into the higher more wooded area, and see if I can find one up there. It's about a, I don't know, 4 or 5 mile hike up a gravel road here. This road is inaccessible. You can't have motorized vehicles for probably 20 miles, so it's pretty quiet. Anyway, see what I can see. I've got my pack on my back here, has my sleeping bag and a little tent, so I plan to spend a couple nights up there and not be in a hurry to get back here. So got plenty of time. Well, I've made it up country from the base camp at the airstrip. I'm probably 3 miles from there. Pretty good walking. There's a nice road here that's closed down during the season, but it makes for nice walking. And but I'm getting into all this timber up here, and you can see last year there was a forest fire that burned the whole unit pretty much, and so now what you have is all these weeds and nasty stuff. So I'm looking to get up here a little further and then hunt to the east. That one drainage I'd seen hadn't burned, so I think that's where the elk might be. Stay tuned. Well, it's Saturday evening, September 21st, and I left the base camp over by the airstrip at 1:45 this afternoon, and I was just hiking up country, and I did a big loop, probably further than I should have gone, and a lot of the area was burned out. So I circle back down. Basically the east side of the upper reaches of Deep Creek. I'm on the Deep Creek Trail, and basically it borders, Hell's Canyon down there, so can't go any further east. It just drops off. But yeah, I didn't see any elk. I bugled a bit in some of this burned out country. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of dark, but a lot of it's just burned out. I don't think the elk are using it. But anyway, I'm here. I'm tired. My legs are tired. I did the math. I walked 8 miles, and it's probably about 7 o'clock. I don't know what it is right now, but yeah, I feel tired. So here's my camp. I got this little one-man tent. When I get in, I'll put a stick up in the middle to give me a little room. And I've got an air mattress and a little pillow and sleeping bag, so should be good. I'm gonna probably cook some fajitas for dinner tonight. That is the Mountain House fajitas. So anyway, I'm just exploring right now. I'll work my way over to the west side tomorrow. Well, good morning. Sunday morning. Beautiful morning, man. The sun came up right over my shoulder this morning. Just beautiful. I'm camped up on a ridge overlooking Hell's Canyon on one side, and then a shallow draw on the other. There definitely aren't any elk here. I'd be hearing them bugle. I know they bugle first thing in the morning pretty heavy. And then down into Hell's Canyon, I know there's got to be elk down there. It looks really good, but they'd be too far away to hear them, I think. Yeah, so I'm just drinking my coffee here and gonna head up and over the ridge and head a little further west, see if I can find some timbered country that's not so burned up. This is all burned up in here, but yeah. As I was sleeping last night, there was some sort of critter walking by my little tent here. I think it was a cow elk. It sounded like a cow elk calling with a kind of a deeper tone, but it kept me awake for a while. It's amazing how you can just camp anywhere and there's always some animal that comes out in the middle of the night that keeps you awake. Anyway, hope you guys have a great Sunday. I'm gonna see what I can find. Stay tuned. Well, in case you're wondering how I get water, down the creek, down at the bottom, and this is good timing because I only have 1 bottle of water left. So you fill up here, and I just have my little filtration deal. So I make sure I fill it from the running water You don't want to fill it from the stagnant water. The running water is cleaner. So fill up the bag. And I've got a little filter that goes on the top. Take my water bottle and just push it in there. Takes a while, but it's clean. Normally I just drink out of the stream. I mean, people have been doing it for years, and I've done it for years, but I figure since I'm out here by myself, I'll take all the precautions so I don't get sick. Anyway, as you can see, this is going to take a while. Well, I'm sitting here in the middle of the day on Sunday, just trying to figure out what to do, but camp is way back that way. And as I was sitting here, right about somewhere down in there, I don't know if he's still there, but there's a bear, black bear walking around. I don't have my spotting scope with me, so I can't get good footage, but it might be the same bear that I shot at the other day. The one I shot at the other day was a couple ridges around. So it's interesting to see him out in the middle of the day just milling around. Been seeing a lot of bears around here. Well, it's Monday morning, September 23rd, and I'm probably 9 miles up country from my base camp by the airstrip. And I've spent a couple days up here, a couple nights. And the reality is I haven't seen much. I saw actually a real nice 6-point right down below me in the creek bottom yesterday. And he had 5 cows with him. But other than that, I saw one elk way off the other end down in a deep hole and heard one bugle a mile away. So I think the reality is a lot of the elk are way down in those holes, so it wouldn't matter if I hunted up here or closer to camp. I've seen 8 guys hunting up here, so there's a few camps, and they said the elk have really shut off as far as bugling. So I figure, well, the elk back by my camp, they were bugling like crazy, so I have several days left, so I might just need to go down in one of those holes and just kill one, so I have plenty of time to pack it out. So anyway, and my phone is getting low on juice and my charger is dead. So the reality is if I did shoot one up here and my phone died, I wouldn't be able to get a hold of the packer that might be able to pack it out, or Adam at the airstrip there. So it wouldn't be smart to kill one up here with the phone being dead, because then the meat would just go to waste. So I'm going to work my way back to the airport, and I'll probably spend one more night midway. There's a spot towards camp that I think has elk, because I've seen them. So I'm going to try that and spend one more night and then get back to camp the next morning. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Here eating lunch. I made it closer back towards camp. I'm still a few miles from camp, but I just got done chasing a bull around,
and I called them up to probably 75 yards each time, but I couldn't see them through the timber. That's the hard part about calling by yourself. You just wouldn't come any further, but I'm going to take a nap here. But while I was sitting here, I noticed it looks like a fire started up over in Washington. Check it out. Well, it's Tuesday, September 24th, 10:45. I slept in this morning, which felt great. Last night I ended up getting into a couple herds of elk that were coming together. It was kind of cool. I got right in between them, and I was kind of sneaking through some kind of burned out stuff. And I come over this rise, and here's a bunch of cows. I jumped at like 20 yards, and they went to bolt, and I just cow called with my mouth, and they stopped. And they kind of milled around probably 30, 40 yards. And then eventually they worked their way up the hillside, and a couple of spikes came in that same line. I ranged them at 50 yards. I was at full draw, and they were perfectly broadside, but man, it's one of those things. I'm way back here in the middle of nowhere. I know I could have filled my tag right there, and they were up on top, which would have been nice. But, you know, I'm here to get a big one, and just not really here to spike hunt. So I'm going on a trek. I'm leaving my camp, and I'm heading off into the prairie. I don't think you can see it here, but anyway, I'm going to dive off the deep end, the north end of the airstrip. I'd seen a big bull there on, I think, my first or second day, and he had probably 25 cows, and from a mile away he looked big. And I saw right where he brings his cows up and over this ridge, and the next morning I saw the cows come through there again. So my hope is to drop down in there. It's about 3 miles from here, and I'm gonna just wait up on top of that ridge, and hopefully in the evening he brings those cows right up and over, and if I have my wind right, I should be able to get them. I'm just thinking the calling isn't really working. Yesterday afternoon, that same herd of elk I got into last night, I actually called the herd bull in 2 different times to 70 yards or so, and he was screaming at me. And once again, if I don't have a caller behind me, that's about as close as they're gonna get. So that's a little frustrating. I even tried raking and screaming at him with a bugle, but he wouldn't come any closer. So my plan to drop off here is a little bit crazy, because if I do get one, it's going to be an ordeal getting it out. But I'm prepared to stay down there for a couple days if I need to. Anyway, I'll check in later. See ya. Well, I just left camp not too long ago to go on my trek down in the hole. Camp's right back there. That's about a mile. I just came on this prairie, and there's my directions. There's a little wood pole, but anyway, I'm gonna drop down into this stuff, and there's a saddle. Oh, kind of down by this tree. Where are we at? There's a saddle down in there. I saw this big bull cross, and that's 2 miles from here. But once I go down this steep grade behind me, it's just going across the big ridge, so it's pretty easy hiking. And if I get one, I'm just gonna pack it down. There's a creek bottom and a road, and Adam said he'd pick me up down there. So here goes nothing. Well, it's almost 1 o'clock, and I'm down here on the ridge where I'm going after that big bull. And I look down over the edge and I see him down there with some cows. He's way at the bottom in some timber. So I haven't seen this bull in a few days, so I hope he does the same pattern. But I started up there. A mile past that point is camp, base camp. And I came down this ridge here. And I just have to get up and over this little knoll behind me. And then I'm going to sit there and take a nap. And my guess is he should come through there probably around 6 o'clock. Pray for me. Well, I've been sitting here for probably 4 hours in the shade over there. But on the other side of this ridge, the bull is bugling, and he's been bugling for hours. So they're probably 800 yards from me, but I think they're going to come right over this saddle by this tree. Probably around 6 o'clock, so I have another hour. But I'm going to see if I can get the wind right and be in the right spot. Hopefully this works out. It's been a lot of work to get here. I walked about 3 miles through some rugged terrain, so we'll see. And if I do get them, I'm going to pack them out down there. Stay tuned. Well, good morning. I was camped at the top of a ridge between Deep Creek and Cow Creek, and that's where I got into that big bull last night. I was screaming at him, and I slept up on the ridge, and then this morning I heard him bugling again down kind of where we got in the screaming match. So I kind of worked my way down, and I kept hearing him bugle, but then he went quiet, and then I saw him on an open ridge, and he had all his cows, and they were going to the next drainage. So got a real good look at him. He was a beautiful, beautiful bull, the biggest one I've seen around here. I don't know, compared to other elk, but he was big for this area. So I'm all the way down at the bottom of Deep Creek right now, just having my coffee and getting some water. And then I actually spotted some other elk up the creek. I saw a nice 6-point up there last evening, and that's on the way back to camp. So today I'm going to just kind of ease my way up this. There's a Deep Creek trail, and I'm going to ease my way up and try to make my way back to the camp tonight probably. I don't see the point of staying down in this hole. I mean, it's pretty steep. Ooh, that's good coffee. I was actually running out of water, so I'm glad to be here. I think it's Wednesday, 4th. And I sit down there at the bottom of the strip. Counted 33 cows, just one bull with 33 cows, and he was a spindly 6-point. So I just kind of gave up on that and started huffing it up the creek, and then I bumped a little group of cows, 5 cows, and another 6-point, which I'd seen the other night, and they went straight up the ridge that I needed to go up to camp anyway, so I took my time, but man, it was steep. I just went straight up, took my time, drank lots of water. Cliff Bar and just took my time and figured maybe they'd cross at the top. And towards the top, I saw the bull one last time, and he was a couple hundred yards from the top, and he didn't look like he was moving much. So evening of Thursday the 26th, and I came into this area where I've gotten into elk a couple different times, so I knew they were using it. And I decided not to wait till dark for something to happen, so I ended up kind of pressing in. I could hear a bull bugling on a hillside, and so I went down, cow called, bugled, and he just shut up. But I had heard another bull on the opposite hillside, so I went his way and screamed at him with the bugle, and he bugled back and chuckled, and so I decided to try being real aggressive. I mean, I was probably 500 yards away, so I worked my way around. You know, every 100 yards or so I would bugle and break a tree, and then he'd bugle. And anyway, so did that game, and he let me come all the way around, and then of course he just shut up. And so I thought he had just taken his cows and left, so I started walking along, and he jumped up 60 yards right in front of me. Nice heavy 6-point. So once they see you, that's that. It's over. So now I'm making my way through the Sherwood Forest, it looks like. Trying to do a straight line back to kind of the main trail that goes back to camp. I don't really want to get caught back here in the dark. So the storm blew through, so tomorrow should be good. I'll text Adam and see if he can come pick me up in the morning, because I think I've given it everything I have, and been seeing elk every day. It's really hard to get them to come in, you know, when they're all herded up. Every bull I've seen has a bunch of cows with them, so. Pretty forest though. As you can see, there's a lot of remnants of the fire. There's burnt stuff everywhere. That's from that fire that came through here last year. So it's Friday the 27th, and here in about a half hour, Adam's supposed to be showing up to pick me up. And it's weird, last night for the first time I actually heard a bugle outside of my tent. And then again this morning I heard it. So I stepped out of the tent and looked down the airstrip, and there was a bull. So, man, I made a great sneak. He kept on moving though, and I didn't really know why he was on the move so much, but I finally caught up to him. And as you can see, I'm in this wide open country, and I ranged him at 60 yards, but you know, through the grass and stuff, I don't know how accurate that is. And he was broadside, just a little spindly 4-point or whatever it was. And I put my 60-yard pin on him, and I shot way low. So maybe he was further. So then I cow called and he stopped again. I pulled out an arrow. This time he was further. So I aimed a little higher and I shot over him. Go figure. And then turns out down the way was a whole herd of elk with a big 6-point. So that was a shame because that would have been perfect right up on top. I just can't believe I missed him. The yardage must have been off, or maybe I jerked the string or something. I don't know. Anyway, beautiful morning though. It's been a great hunt, but I am tired and ready to go home. Hopefully the flight's safe. I'll catch you guys later.
it's Friday. I think it's the 27th. And I made it back from the Lord Flat adventure. Adam picked me up this morning, and yeah, it was cool. It's cool watching him come in and land. And the flight out was a lot smoother than it was on the way in. We flew in the afternoon, and those thermals really make it for a bumpy ride. But in the morning it was nice and flat, and it was really cool because he flew pretty low. I mean, we were flying right over the ridge tops, and he's, you know, circled around a few times on these deer, and so that was kind of cool to fly just real low like that. Just beautiful country. Coming into Joseph, you know, all the farmland and everything was beautiful. So here I am, though. I'm leaving Joseph now and making my way home. I'm excited to see the kids. Yeah, overall, though, just for my own notes, I've been kind of taking videos more for my own memory, because one day I'll probably want to do that again, and I'm not sure it's worth it. I'd say if I did it again, I would need to have somebody with me that's kind of in equal shape as me, because it takes a lot of hiking. But also I got into a lot of elk that were callable if I had a collar set up behind me, and I did not. So they would come in, you know, to 60 yards behind trees, and I wouldn't get a shot. So that was frustrating, but overall just a really cool area. There's a lot of memories of back from when I was in high school. We used to go in there with horses, and, you know, just a lot of fun. But overall just real peaceful. You know, it detaches you from everything going on in town. Although I did have cell coverage at camp, so if I could do it all over again, I'd love to not have cell coverage, because that is a distraction to be texting people and calling people. So anyway, that's the end of the trip. Made it back safe so far. Now I get to make the drive. I'm gonna probably stop in LeGrand and get some breakfast. I need some good food. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed my long conversations with the camera. I'll talk to you later.